math routine is on slide 6. And this is an old favorite of mine, which one doesn't belong. The nice thing for you are there are 3 links here. These links are already created, which one does it belongs, from kindergarten through, I think they even have Algebra 2 and Trig in there. So you don't have to be the ones doing the work. All you have to do is collect the ones you want to use, plop them in. Less work for you, more rigor for the kids. So feel free to check those out. And ours is on slide 7. So if you went on slide 7, take a look. We have 4 images and a little does not belong symbol. You're going to drag that over to the one you think doesn't belong. What rule are you creating in your head that makes one of these the oddball out? Once you've found one way, think of other rules. Is there something else that doesn't belong? And if you're just joining us, welcome. We're starting our Which One Doesn't Belong on slide 7. And this first one gives me a quick anonymous pulse. Which ones come up more often? And slide 8 is where I'd like you to give a little bit of a rationale. You'll go into the quadrant that you selected as not belonging, and you'll give a super short and sweet reason, a little rationale. Why doesn't this belong? And if you found somebody else's that you agree with, you can change their font to bold, even if that wasn't your original thought, but you're like, oh yeah, I can see that. Let's see, Shauna said, I'm not seeing the marker. If your slides just went away, make sure you click on this. That is the actual slide deck as opposed to the one that I'm projecting on the screen. See if that fixes it. If not, feel free to turn on your mic. I'm happy to walk you through it. And I'd love to hear from a couple of you all. I'm going to let you know I'd like to hear from you just by making your box green. So this first one, sides are rectangular, not square. Where do you see that, and why do the others have this?
Because the sides are the yellow. It's a rectangle. The red is a rectangle. And the other ones are all square. Like even the cube has square faces. And the net has square pieces on it. But the yellow and the blue are definitely rectangles. I think even the red is a rectangle.
Neat. And sometimes, kiddos will even notice that on the Rubik's Cubes, they're squares, but they're tiny squares. Yeah, so that's the only one with rectangles. In the pink, can you tell us what does monochrome mean?
Oh, so this one just only has one color. The rest are colored. So it's only white and gray.
Neat. And Laura, actually, this is quite a mathy term. As a matter of fact, the tool that we have in Google Slides to draw something is called a polyline. And if we get into kind of the language behind mathematics, a mono means one, but poly means many. And so this is where we get this idea of a polygon. And if you use this tool, it will only make polygons. It won't let you finish it unless it's closed, and it'll only make straight lines. So super fun tool for geometry if y'all haven't seen that. And somebody else, let's see, we've got this one in yellow. Tell us a little bit more about the idea of manipulating.
This is the only one. Well, like you can turn it. So there's two 3D shapes, but this one you can turn, you can twist. It's a toy.
Very cool. Well, folks, these are some really great ways of thinking about this. You have now convinced me to maybe change my mind. We're going to move down to slide 9, and this is our accountability slide. Here is where you're going to put your name, the letter you think has the best reason for not belonging, and your description that you're going to hold yourself accountable for. So, for example, I'll type in the first one, Teresa, A, and then my reason. And you can change your reason. You can pick somebody else's reason. But you're going to now commit. This is the committing part of the math. And if you had a new idea and you want to put that there, that's fine. This is the part that's kind of like your quiz or your test, your accountability slide. And Christine and Lucy, I think you're talking about letter D. If you don't mind just putting that letter in. Oftentimes my students will have an assigned space. I'll do that with color, so they know exactly where to type. Awesome. All right, let's break down the pedagogy real quick about what just happened here with this activity. I have my tips on slide 10. This is not the only way of doing it, but just instead the way that I did it. First, we strike it. That first slide was all about being anonymous, getting affirmation that your ideas are right, somebody else agrees with you. You had a chance to give a rationale for why. You had a chance to share out. I chose specific ones that I wanted to talk about because they fit with our unit, and you could also connect with other people using bold. And finally, there's this other element of making your choice public, like deciding this is the answer I want to be graded on and making that public, but only after having a chance to talk about it first. So I'll give you a minute. If you would put in the chat box, what is one takeaway you have from this activity that you'll do in your class? Julia mentions this scaffold participation, and oftentimes when I share these 3 slides with people, they like to pick one and like always use that one in their classroom, and that's a perfectly fine choice. But you notice the scaffolding. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're going to take the scaffolding part back to your class? Yeah. Many of you are mentioning the point here of committing. Gail, why is it important to you to bring back this public choice?